Hello friends, I am Rashmi. Welcome to SRS Info. Happy Independence Day to all of you. Today we will discuss some important MCQs related to pharmacy. It will be helpful for your preparation for competitive examinations where the pharmacy comes as a part of your syllabus. So let us start. The first question is, the synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate source is defined as what? So, the glucose can be synthesized from non-carbohydrate source in animals. This process is known as gluconeogenesis. The correct answer will be option B, gluconeogenesis. Okay. And what is called glycolysis? Let us see the other options also. Glycolysis is the process in which the glucose is converted into pyruvate and the released energy is used to form ATP, the energy molecules. And what is glycogenolysis? What is glycogenolysis? This is the process in which the glycogen is break down into glucose molecules, and this process takes place mainly in liver cells and muscles. This happens when the body requires more energy. Okay, and glycogenesis is the process in which glycogen is formed, the reverse process of glycogenolysis. In glycogenesis, glycogen is formed. The chain of molecules of glucose is stored as in the form of glycogen. This is what we can call as glycogenesis. So, the answer of this first question, that is, the synthesis of glucose from non-carbohydrate source, is defined as gluconeogenesis. Let us move to the next question. Bioavailability refers to the relative amount of drug that reaches where? What is bioavailability? Bioavailability is a relative amount, that is the required amount of drug when reaches to our bloodstream or systemic circulation, then its desired action starts. So the process by which the relative amount of drug that reaches to the systemic circulation is called as bioavailability. So the answer of this question is systemic circulation or blood circulation. Okay. So let us move to the next question. The question is, which class of drug decreases the viscosity of respiratory tract secretions? When the viscosity of respiratory tract secretion decreases, the sputum will comes out through the air passages. So the difficulty in breathing will reduce. This is the method by which expectorants works out. So the answer of this question is expectorants. Expectorants decreases the viscosity of respiratory tract secretions and it cleans out the tract. And the just opposite process happens in the case of antitussive, where it suppresses the dry cough. There is no sputum is secreted, but the cough has to be suppressed. So antitussive is used. Antihistamines are those drugs which is used to treat allergic rhinitis. And vasoconstrictors, it is narrowing the blood vessels or constrict the vessels. Okay. So the answer of third question is option D, expectorants. Let us move to the next question. What is the antidote of arsenic poison? The antidote of arsenic poison is BAL. What is BAL? It is also known as dimercaprol. Also called as dimercaprol, which is used to treat the poisoning of arsenic or other metals also. And BAL, the full form is British anti-levisite. It is also called as dimercaprol. It is a chelating agent and it used to reduce the poisoning effect of arsenic. So the answer is option A. Protamine sulfate is also a antidote and it is used to reduce the overdose of heparin. It is used to reduce the overdose of heparin, protamine sulfate. Atropine is antimuscarinic and anticholinergic agent and it is also used to reduce the pesticide poisoning. Okay, And dicumarol is very important antidote, but it is mainly used to reduce the it inhibits the vitamin K recycling. So what happens? It inhibits the preparation of prothrombin, so that it inhibits the clotting of blood. So it plays a very important role in the control of blood clotting. The answer of this fourth question, that is antidote of arsenic poison, is BAL, that is British anti-Levicet. Let's move to the next question. Question number 5. Acacia is incompatible with what? Acacia is a shrub. It's a very important shrub which has many medicinal uses. It is used to reduce the fat and reduce the blood loss. It improves the oral health. Many more medicinal use is for acacia. And this drug is identified, this plant is identified in 1773 by Carl Linnaeus. Okay, and this acacia is incompatible with alcoholic solution, mainly where alcohol is more than 50%. In that case, acacia is incompatible with alcohol or alcoholic solution. Okay, so let us move to the next question. An example of lipoprotein. Which of the following is represents an example of lipoprotein? What is actually lipoprotein? These are the soluble proteins that combines with lipids and fat, and this protein carries these lipids and fat to the blood plasma also. So lipoprotein plays a very important role in our human body. The example of lipoprotein which have given here is lecithin. Lecithin is a very important lipoprotein, and this lipoprotein is used to treat many types of diseases such as memory disorders and cholesterol, to treat some types of depression, etc. There are many types of use in for lecithin. In some cases it is used as a moisturizer also. Okay, xanthin is also a protein, but it is a purine based protein. It is mainly found in body fluids and tissues. And everybody knows that hemoglobin is also a protein. What are the main functions of hemoglobin? Mainly hemoglobin carries oxygen in our body. This is the carriers of oxygen. Through blood it reaches everywhere in our body, and it gives a red color to our blood. So hemoglobin is a very important protein. And what is mucin? It is also a protein which is found in epithelial tissue. So here the answer of this question number 6, that is example of lipoprotein, is lecithin. Let us move to the next question. The drug commonly used to prevent sepsis in severe burn cases is, which is the drug commonly used to treat the burn, severe burns? This is silver sulfadiazine. Why? It is a topical antibiotic. This topical antibiotic is used to treat the skin burns, the severe skin burns. All other drugs are antibiotics which is coming under the category of sulfonamides. So the answer of this question is option A, silver sulfadiazine. The next question, example of umbelliferous fruit. This is very easy. The example of umbelliferous fruit is fennel. From umbelliferous fruit we get the volatile oil. Okay, it has a hollow stem. It's an umbelliferous fruit. It has a hollow stem. And look here, these options, Nux vomica and datura, these are poisonous. Nux vomica is also known as poison nut, and datura is a poisonous flowering plant. Do you know the scientific name of cardamom? If you know, please let me know by writing it in the comment box. Okay, so the answer for this question is option D, fennel. Let us move to the next question. Meiotic drug used to treat glaucoma is, which meiotic drug is used to treat glaucoma? What is glaucoma? Glaucoma is the condition in which the eyeball pressure, the pressure of the eyeball is getting increased, and very gradually the eyesight is lost. This is the condition which is called as glaucoma. And what does this meiotic drug does with this glaucoma? The meiotic drug constricts the channels. It constricts the blood vessels, and it opens the channels to the drainage channels to the eye, so that it carries the fluid to eye and decreases the pressure. This is the method of action of meiotic drugs which works in glaucoma. So that these drugs are used to treat the condition which is called glaucoma. And the answer of this question is pilocarpine. This is a meiotic drug which is used to treat glaucoma. Piperacin is a vasodilator. In the cases of pilocarpine, it constricts the blood vessels, but in the case of piperacin, it decreases or relaxes the muscles. So it is used as a relaxant. Pethidine and propoxyphene are opioid analgesics. So the answer of this question is pilocarpine. Let us move to the next question. An antidote used to treat morphine overdose is. Morphine is a opioid analgesic, which is a narcotic also. Okay, it is narcotic. So the drug which is used to treat morphine overdose is naloxone. Those drugs which stops or which blocks the action of this opioid analgesics is used to treat the overdose of morphine, overdose of opioid analgesic. So naloxone is coming under that category. It is used to treat this morphine overdose. We already discussed about atropine and dimercaprol in the first question. Pralidioxim is also used as an antidote to treat the organophosphoric poisoning. Pralidoxim is an antidote to treat the organophosphorus poisoning. Okay. Let us move to the next question. See, in combination with diapasone, the drug chosen to be administered for the treatment of leprosy. Which drug is used to treat leprosy in combination with diapasone? The answer is option A, clofazimine. Clofazimine is used as a combination of diapasone to treat leprosy. Penicillin, you are familiar with penicillin. This is the first antibiotic which I have ever discovered. And in which year it was discovered? In 1928 by Alexander Fleming. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. But the first time it is used for treatment of human infection, the bacterial infection, in 1942 only. It is discovered in 1928 but started to use in human body in 1942. These all are coming under the antibiotic category. The next question. The use of isoniazid is restricted due to which side effect? Which side effect we can observe mostly in the case of isoniazid? Isoniazid is used to treat tuberculosis. Okay, but there is a major side effect in the use of isoniazid is hepatotoxicity. What is hepatotoxicity? The injury caused to liver, okay, due to the exposure of some drugs. This is called hepatotoxicity. So isoniazid may lead to hepatotoxicity, so that its use has been restricted. What is ototoxicity? Ototoxicity is the poisoning related to ear poisoning. And neurotoxicity, the toxicity of neurons, nerves related to central nervous system or peripheral nervous system. And what is bone marrow depression? Bone marrow depression is such condition in which the number of hemopoietic cells is decreased in our bone marrow. This condition is known as bone marrow depression. So the answer of this question 12, that is use of isoniazid is restricted due to hepatotoxicity, option P. Let us move to the next question. The major protein of the connective tissue is called what? Connective tissues played a very important role in our body. So the major protein of the connective tissue is collagen. It is present abundantly in our body, and this keeps the body whole together. That much important is for collagen. Okay, and keratin is also very important. It is known as fibrillous connective tissue, fibrillous protein, which is known as fibrillous protein. It gives shape to our fibers, just like hair, nails, etc. Okay, and what is melanin? It is the pigment which gives colors to our skin. And myosin is not a motoprotein. It plays a very important role in the muscle contractions. Okay, so the answer of this question is option B, collagen. The major protein of the connective tissue is called collagen. Next question. The legal requirement for running a wholesale drugstore is a direct question. Option B is the answer. 180 to 200 square feet is essential to get approval to start a wholesale drugstore. Next question is, the chairman of Drug Enquiry Committee. Who was the chairman of Drug Enquiry Committee? Drug Enquiry Committee was formed in 1930 by the government of India, and this committee is also known as Chopra Committee. So the answer of this question is Colonel Ramnath Chopra. He is known as the father of Indian pharmacology. He is a very renowned scientist and pharmacologist. He played a very important role in the study of herbals in India, and his main area of study was the plant of Rauwolfia serpentina, and he studied about these plants and many other herbals, and he put forward many new discoveries and many new ideas towards the Indian pharmacological field. And this by this committee recommendations, it's put forward there is a need of proper legislation, control, and proper recognition and identification for the import of drugs. Import, control, and legislation, all these factors are formed in an organized way by the recommendation of this Chopra committee. So this committee recommendations are very important milestone in the cases of this the development of pharmacy field in India. So Colonel Ramnath Chopra committee is very important. And who was Sir Joseph Bore? There was another committee formed in 1943 which submitted its report in 1946 under the chairmanship of Sir William Joseph Bore. And he recommended at the first time the importance of national health programs in India and the importance of preventive healthcare system. This committee put forward both these very important ideas for the development of healthcare system in India. So this committee is also very important. And Acharya Prafulla Chandra Roy, he is known as the father of Indian chemical science. He is known as the father of Indian chemical science, and in 1901 he founded the Bengal Chemical and Pharmaceutical Organization in Calcutta. So he is also very important person. The answer of this question is option A, Colonel Ramnath Chopra, the chairman of Drug Enquiry Committee. The next question is, a hospital with 100 bed is known as, it's a small hospital, medium hospital, or large or very small. The hospital with 100 bed is called as small hospital. It's a very straightforward question. Moving to the next question. Endoplasmic reticulum is the center of, this is very simple, endoplasmic reticulum, where we can say in the cytoplasm of the cell, and it is the center of protein synthesis. It plays a very important role in the eukaryotic cell protein synthesis. Okay, let us move to the next question. Rabies vaccine is made by inoculating a rabbit with saliva from which organism? This is rabial dog. Rabies vaccine is made by inoculating a rabbit with saliva from a rabial dog. By this process we prepared rabies vaccine. Next question is, glass used for the preparation of vials, ampoules, and transfusion bottle is, which type of glass is used for the preparation of vials, ampoules, and transfusion bottle? This is again straightforward answer. Neutral glass is used for the preparation of this ampoules and vials. No other type of glass can be used for this preparation of vials and ampoules. The next question. The error due to impurities in chemicals and solvent is called. The error due to impurities. There is a very important chapter. This is errors about the during the preparation, packing, and distributing the drugs. It's very important to monitor the possible errors, and to minimize this error, the precautionary measures has to be taken. So the error due to impurities in chemicals and solvent is called as chemical error. Please like, share and subscribe if you like this initiative. Again, wish you a very happy Independence Day. Let me conclude with a quote of Rabindranath Tagore. We gain freedom when we have paid the full price. Thank you.